Hi, and welcome to Across the Desk. This week, we have Melinda Alizadeh-fard here. She's running for Lieutenant Governor of Oklahoma, and she is my guest interview this week on Across the Desk. Hi, Melinda. I have to say thank you very much for taking the time to appear on my show. I really appreciate it. I know how busy you are, especially right now. You got less than 2 months before the election. It's go time. You're going out, you're meeting people, shaking hands, and as many people as you can, and I really thank you so much for taking the time to appear today on Across the Desk.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. So to get started, you're running for Lieutenant Governor of Oklahoma. What kind of experience do you have that would benefit you in that office?
Okay, well, one, I am a dedicated Oklahoman. I want to see our state do better.
All right.
I'm really tired of hearing that we are at the top when we're not. We're way behind in many areas. Education comes to the top of mind of everybody. I'm also an attorney, so I'm used to working with rules and regulations. I've been a social worker, so I'm used to working with the people of Oklahoma.
So yeah, you're an immigration attorney, and how does that relate to how the Lieutenant Governor's office is, and just government in general, and why you're running?
Okay, well, a lot of that is maybe a servant's heart, having a servant heart and wanting to help people and wanting things to be better and leave things better. So we have somebody in office who has not been performing their job and has cost the state a lot of money. Myself and my children, we were not happy with the way that the state was going. We know we can do better.
Oh yeah.
And the seat was going to go unopposed too. That sends the wrong message, in my opinion. If you leave somebody in office and you don't oppose, there are no candidates opposing them, it looks like you're saying, you're doing a great job, keep it up.
Exactly.
And that's not the case at all.
What does the Lieutenant Governor's office do in Oklahoma? And yeah, what exactly do they do, and what are you going to bring to the table?
Okay, I will bring to the table somebody who does the job. Now the Lieutenant Governor, of course everybody knows, or maybe knows, that if something happens to the governor, the Lieutenant Governor assumes that position, or temporarily fills that if the governor is out of state or not available. The Lieutenant Governor also serves as President of the Senate, and in that capacity you are a bipartisan steward of the Senate.
I gotcha.
The Lieutenant Governor is also a member of 10 boards and commissions, and those were not accidental job assignments. The Lieutenant Governor is the chair, the vice chair, voting member, or ex officio member. You're there to be a watchdog for the state in that capacity.
Oh yeah. And the current Lieutenant Governor has definitely not done that at all, especially when it comes to recreation and tourism, as we've seen with the Swadley's deal, where he was just signing off on purchase orders that were not adding up. And that's part of the problem. Is that correct?
That is a huge part of the problem for the Lieutenant Governor. It's going to get bigger too. I mean, most people are aware of the 17 million, the 12 million that was definitely not accounted for, but 17 million that was spent putting those 6 restaurants, franchise restaurants in 6 of our parks, that used up over half the budget on that. Now we don't even have those restaurants. We don't have those funds available for the deferred maintenance on all of our other facilities, and we've left some of our most scenic routes without facilities for our guests. I've heard that Talamena Drive doesn't even have restrooms available for people that come visit.
And yet millions of dollars gets fleeced right out of there for the Swadley's deal, and Swadley's gets to hold the bag on a lot of this. As you know, I don't know. I saw Mr. Swadley come out and say, "Hey, I'm being railroaded," and maybe he did. Maybe people did come in and just ram things through and railroad and kind of skimmed some cash here and there, and he got left holding the bag, but he was actually part of it too.
Right. So. Well, Mr. Swadley should have kept that thing in mind. If it looks too good to be true,
it probably
probably is not true.
Yeah, exactly.
So the way he was able to just expand the original contract was for $2.2 million to renovate those restaurants. Then you end up more and more things, anything that needed to be done, oh, we'll let Mr. Swadley and his crew take care of it. I was reading over the amended petition and the answers that were filed in that court case. And it was really scary that you would have people working on things like boat docks and doing contracting work. And in some cases, they were very slow to get their permits.
Yeah.
Now, I have told people in the past, my father was an electrician, and one of my first jobs was pulling wires for him. But I remember him coming home one time and telling us how he was called to fix a fuse box for somebody that had apparently been working on it themselves until the electric didn't work anymore. Well, when he opened that fuse box, it blew up in his face. Now, it knocked him off the ladder, he survived, he had burn marks on his face, but the Swadley deal, those people, either they were incompetent, including the lieutenant governor, or they just weren't doing their job. Either way, that has blown up in the face of the people of Oklahoma.
Or they're in on it. I mean, it's kind of like, how does Matt not know that a used grill doesn't cost $150,000? How would he? I mean, I just don't see how he didn't know that these people were coming in. Hey, sign this PO. I know it's not on the book board, but sign it anyway. He had to have known.
Well, it was his job to know.
Yeah.
It was his job to review any receipt over $25,000, and we know that he approved a $1.5 million payment by email. By just saying approved, no receipts, no documentation.
That's a failure in leadership.
Yeah.
That's a total failure in leadership.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So anyway, going on, you're an immigration attorney. You also have experience working in the government in the Department of Homeland Security?
Well, not the Homeland. No? I work for the state of Oklahoma.
The state of Oklahoma.
I am a retired state employee, actually.
Okay.
I was a social worker with the Department of Human Services.
Okay.
I ran a microfilm lab for the Department of Human Services. I was a hearing officer, or also known as an administrative law judge, with the Oklahoma Employment Security Commission, and I decided unemployment appeals.
There you go.
I retired from the state in 2017. Meanwhile, I had been in a public servant, private practice, public servant. Now I'm back in private practice, and we are running to be back in public service because I like a challenge too.
Yeah.
It is a challenge running in a Republican state, but I think most Oklahomans can agree that we work too hard for our money to see it wasted.
Yeah, and that's sad about straight party voting, but honestly, I think if there was ever an election year, this is the one for Democrats to really take charge and really get the vote out and show up and vote, because of everything that the Republicans are doing. That's such missteps. The corruption here in Oklahoma, for one thing, just concentrating on Oklahoma's corruption, for one. The missteps of Ryan Walters and his really extremism on going after teachers and everything else has just been a galvanizing thing for Democrats from what I've seen. And Sooner Poll came out saying, hey, women are really registering to vote in huge numbers we haven't seen before in this state.
Right. I was at the heart of the party in Tulsa this weekend, and they released I heard a little bit of information that 1,000 more women were registered as Democratic voters in Tulsa than Republican now.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we're still kind of outnumbered on the male side, but
catching up.
Yeah,
because we were ahead, got down.
I think men don't like to waste their money either.
Yeah. So. And honestly, with the midterm election, it's really about turnout. It's not really about, hey, we got more registered Republicans than Democrats. When you only have less than 1/3 of the Republicans showing up to vote, then if Democrats can turn out at least half, then we're winning races. Right. You're lieutenant governor if we can do that.
Right.
Seriously. Is there anything else that we want to cover?
Well, I want to clarify one thing. A lot of people don't know that the lieutenant governor and the governor are not running mates.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
lieutenant governor runs independently.
Now they did try to pass a law about 4 years ago on that, but I don't think it went anywhere. It didn't make it out of committee, I don't think, about having them run together on the same ticket. But you're right, the lieutenant governor and governor do not run on the same ticket in Oklahoma.
Right.
What do you think about that? Do you think
I
they
think
should?
that I, as lieutenant governor, will be a watchdog regardless.
Regardless.
That if the governor and the lieutenant governor are the same party, of course the lieutenant governor can take on more responsibility.
Yeah.
Such as the current lieutenant governor is the cabinet secretary over travel and tourism and Western heritage.
Yeah.
And that's why we know that all of the Swadley debacle still goes back to him. Even if the commission didn't have oversight. But you were the secretary. You should have been looking at that
Yeah, you're
stuff.
the one who's in responsible charge here. You're the one with the responsibility, and you're the one who failed with leadership by not doing your due diligence on these things.
It's sad, but you know, in the investigation they have issued search warrants for phones of people that were working for tourism in Swadley. And my first thought was, oh, that's going to be bad for him either way. As an attorney, I'm thinking that too.
Winchester,
but I'm thinking, okay, it's bad if your name's all over there and your number's popping up and all those, because you absolutely knew what was going on and you lied about it a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And if his name and number are not all over it, then why weren't you keeping up with this? Why weren't you doing your job?
Yeah, exactly. Why weren't you doing your job? And is it maybe was it planned that you weren't doing it? Are you just really inept, or is this staged? Are you in on it?
I like to say, we're going to be kind.
Yeah.
Everybody's not a good fit for every job. And so perhaps this just was not a good fit for him.
Yeah. My personal opinion, I know this is an interview, but my personal opinion is Matt is a weak person. He's a weak leader. He lets people walk all over him. That's obviously what happened. He signed this PO because we're telling you to. And he didn't have the leadership ability, didn't have the guts, didn't have the power to go against those who were obviously fleecing the state millions of dollars.
And that may be the case.
That's his failure. And at the end of the day, he's either very incompetent because of his cowardice, because he didn't stand up to these people, or he's in on the take. He's in on it somewhere. He's getting something back somewhere. And that's really the only two options for him, and they're not pretty ones.
No, they're not. They are not at all.
And that's really, when it comes to...
It's a lose-lose.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose. I'm sorry, you didn't do your job.
Yeah.
You didn't do it. And that shows really bad right there.
Yes.
And I know he's getting out trying to smile with everybody. He's trying to, and I've seen him lately too, trying to take pictures with as many Democratic senators as he can. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't noticed that.
Kerry Hicks was one. He got in a deal with somebody else. I can't remember the name of the person, but I know at least two Democrats. He had to, there was a 5K run or something, and then there was something else he was in on, or a parade or something. And had to take his picture with the Democrats out there that are running. So I don't know what that was about.
Well, Democrats are not evil. We are nice people, and we are not going to be rude. If he wanted his picture made with me, I'd be happy to have my picture made with him.
I have a theory on that. I might have to disagree. I might find something to disagree with you on. So, because, I don't know. People that watch this show knows there's certain people I will not have a picture with.
Right.
There's certain people I will not talk to, because you just can't have you just can't have conversations with everybody.
Right.
There's certain people that are just destined not to listen to you, and those people are not worth your time. When, for instance, Senator Inhofe says, if you're a Democrat or a liberal, you're not an Oklahoman. Sorry, I can't talk to that guy, because he's already telling me, sorry, I'm not going to listen to you.
That is one reason we put on our campaign material, we are all Oklahomans.
Yeah.
I don't care what your politics are. We all belong here.
Yeah. So, that's just me. There's certain people that I won't have a conversation with unless they meet preconditions. And there's certain people I will not show up in a photo with. Governor Stitt, for one. I won't ever be seen in a photo with that guy. Because, it seems like the only people that show up in a photo with him are a crook or some pedophile somewhere. And it's like, don't want to be seen in a picture with him. I think that would be bad for me. I think it would make me look weak to look in a show up in a picture with him. Yeah, same thing with Inhofe. You know, there's a guy that won't listen to me, but yet I want to go begging for a conversation. That would make me look weak to do so. And that's just me personally.
Oh, I'm not going to beg for a picture.
So yeah, you know, but I see that, you know.
I'm not begging for a picture with me.
And I'm glad certain people, you know, they say, you know, when people want to debate, I want to debate. You're not debating me. Blah blah blah. No, listen. It doesn't make them look weak not to debate you. Mm-hmm. Especially if they're running around with a bunch of bluster and saying that they're not going to listen to you and abusing you out there to the public. You don't want to beg those people for a debate because it's going to make you look weak to do so. That's just strategy.
Since you brought that up, I would be happy to have a debate
with Matt,
with the current lieutenant governor.
Well, you know, that probably wouldn't be a bad thing, you know, because
I'm pretty busy now, so you better catch me.
I haven't seen where he's been all, you know, totally extremist on things, totally a white nationalist or white Christian nationalist here or anything like that. I haven't seen anything where he's saying if you're an Oklahoman, you're not, if you're a Democrat, you're not an Oklahoma citizen. I haven't seen anything like that from him. No. So, you know, having a conversation with him might be doable. And actually having a conversation with him about, hey man, this Swadley thing looked kind of screwy.
That's the problem with having a debate. It's going to come up, and we're going to have to explain what happened there.
Yeah,
so,
and honestly,
I don't know that he will, but
yeah, it wouldn't be in his best interest to have a debate.
He would like to have a debate.
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
But that's not going to be off the table.
Yeah, it won't be off the table.
No. So.
And honestly, it would not be in his best interest to have one with you. Honestly, probably because he doesn't really have much of a profile. He really doesn't. You know, you might have about as big a profile as he does.
Right.
But so that so it's kind of a give or take. You know, that's why like Inhofe doesn't want to debate Abby Broyles, you know, before, because he has the profile, she doesn't. Why would he want to? It doesn't make any sense. Right. So there you go. If he wants
a debate, he better get it on the calendar because it's filling up.
There you go. Here we go. It is filling up, and it's getting on because November 8th is right around the corner.
Right.
So get ready, folks. It's time to go vote.
Before the election, we do have a 77 counties in 7 days tour coming up in October. And we want the people of Oklahoma to know that we are all Oklahomans and that everybody in Oklahoma is important. Every vote counts.
Every vote counts. And you've been all over the state. And you're getting ready to go to all 77 counties here in October. That'll be wonderful. Yes. Well, we're about out of time.
Oh, thank you.
Goes quick, 15 minutes. Wham. But anyway, Melinda, thank you so much for appearing on the show.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. You have no idea what it means to have you here and to tell our audience all about you so that we can go vote for you in November 8th for the election.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I believe you already posted my website, but it's melinda4ltgovernor.com. There's a very nice little donation button on that website too, so be sure and visit that.
And also on my website, kitfairchild.com, I have a donations page where you can find a link to Melinda's campaign where you can go to her donation page and donate to her campaign.
That's sweet.
Well, this is Across the Desk, and as always, we'll see you guys next week.